Okay, going live. I'm using StreamYard, so I'm going to click over here, going live on Instagram right here. Hopefully I do this all correctly. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going live. Usually I'm doing these interviews with other people on my Go Live, but I thought I would do it myself today. I took all these notes at the Forward Mastermind right there. That's my notebook. Oh, it even says Scottsdale, Arizona, so that's very handy. And I just thought I would talk about the things that I found were impactful. So Pace Morby personally told me to use StreamYard. So I'm going to give it a shot. I know I attempted to, and I did it on my other computer, which was really pixelated. And so I'm on my laptop. I am actually upstairs in my bathroom right now. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. I do believe if it's live on other platforms, I can see any comments coming in. So if you have any questions about anything that we talked about at the mastermind or anything I talk about here, I would love to know. I am feeling a little alone here, so I don't even know if this is live. So I'm actually going to just check real quick. I don't know if I can check. If it'll show that I popped up live on here. Usually Matt Barba shows up, so come on, Matt. Thank you for your patience in this whole process. And I guess if I talk to nobody, I talk to nobody. How do I know? It says that I'm live, but I have 0 watchers. Let's see, we've got YouTube and Facebook, but there's also Instagram, but it's not saying. Oh, Johnny texted me. Okay, you're live on Instagram. Yay, Johnny's the best. Okay, but John, make a comment on the live because it's not, I feel like I'm alone. I'm a lone woman. But thank you for texting me. I super appreciate that you let me know that it's working. The next thing to just figure out is if you have comments, if you post a comment wherever it is live, I think it's supposed to show up. There's like a little screen here that will show up the comments. So anyway, that would be super helpful to know. Oh, Katie said comments are working on the live, but it's not showing on my, there's some comments, people are saying hello. Okay, but it's not showing on the StreamYard. Let me see if I go to Instagram. Uno momento. Oh, it does show up on Instagram, but not on my live. That's so weird. Okay, let me see if I can do a side by side. I thought on StreamYard it would show people who were commenting. So maybe there's some destinations won't get comments is what it says. Ah, dang it. This is more complicated than I was hoping. You know what I want it to be as easy as pie. That would be what I prefer. Okay. All right. Oh, Matt, the Matt Barba is there. Okay. Awesome. Okay. If anybody has any questions or comments, I can only see the Instagram ones because I have just pulled up the Instagram screen on my computer. So, but it seems like it's delayed. So I don't know. I guess we'll figure this out in the meantime. The Forward Mastermind. Okay. I will say that all of the masterminds have been really amazing and remarkable. But I will say about this one this time is that I really felt like I just like felt like I don't even know how to put it to words. Like it is I'm going to tell you, it is expensive to be a part of a mastermind group like this. It is pricey, but also you are getting in surrounded by people who are willing to make the expense of it and the sacrifice to like travel and be a part of it. And so like the people that I'm surrounded by is amazing. And the guest speakers, like having access to these people who are so successful in business, like having that really personal access like that is so amazing. Let's see here. Okay, Johnny just sent me another text that there are people. Okay. But I'm not getting any more There's no more motion in this. Anyway, but getting access to people really on a like very personal level, like for example, Phil Jones was there. He is the exactly what to say guy. Um, I think he's like with Tom Ferry stuff a lot. You see a lot of real estate agents, like he's got an exactly what to say for real estate agents book out, and he's speaking to gazillions of people, and I was able to like sit at his table for lunch and breakfast, and we like met one on one, like just personally like that. And then I came into a setting where he was sitting on a couch, and he was like sharing this story with somebody, and then he's talking about this story, and then he's like, and then Liz here, blah 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 blah, and I was like, what? Phil Jones knows my name. So he may not remember my name, like if I someday in the future if I meet him, but it just was kind of awesome that like this like really cool person that like I have had his book. We are working on his book with my team, where we like go through a phrase a week. This is the focus this week, and we want to try to like do an Instagram post or social media post around his phrase, use it in conversations. I think this week is, would you be open-minded to so would you be open-minded, so how can you use that? Anyway, that's kind of getting off topic, but I just have loved being a part of it. Just was really cool to be able to have some access to people on that smaller scale. Another cool thing that happened, and why I'm using StreamYard, is that when Pace Morby was speaking, which you should check him out, he Neil had pointed out that like I've been doing these IG lives, with people in the group, in the mastermind. And Pace was like, Liz, you should start a podcast. And I was like, okay, but he said at the very least, like you should use StreamYard because the videos get saved and you can repurpose, and it's in multiple spots, which I thought was handy and cool. So which is why I'm trying it, but I'm going to figure this out. This is going to be great. And then someday when I do it with somebody else, I'll just understand it, right? Get the suck over with, practice, start before you're ready, yada, yada, yada. I see some people hopping in, but I don't see any more comments. So Katie, if you're still on, make a comment on Instagram and let me know. I actually am kind of interested if this is delayed. That's what I'm also trying to figure out, if it's very delayed, because I can see my Instagram screen and it is delayed. So I don't know. Oh, okay. Katie did make a comment. So, okay, cool. Okay, so I will just kind of get started. If anybody has any comments, I can see the Instagram ones. If you're on another platform, sorry, I don't. We'll figure that out in the future. Okay, yeah, Johnny says definitely delayed. Okay, well, that's cool. Whatever, it's going to be fine. Okay, so just kind of starting out, Neil talked about like, you go to these events and it's like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much information and it can be overwhelming. And I did make a to-do list while I was there. Like usually when I go to events, I'll make one page where it's like things that kind of stand out that I need to work on. And sometimes it doesn't even like directly have to do with what the person said, but it like sparked a little memory or like inspiration in me. So I'll write it down. Anyway, so that was part of Neil's advice though, was like narrow your focus. You're going to learn a lot of information. If you may just take away one thing. And I know sometimes when we spend a lot of money to go to events, we're like, I need to absorb all of it. I need to get all of it. But you're going to be most effective by finding the one thing that you can like really execute and get good at, and then move forward. So I thought that was awesome advice. He talked about posting more personal stuff in your feed. Oh, Lemonade Life Coach. Awesome. How have you been? It's good to see you. And Alvina, I'm going to be in your office in a couple of weeks, or at least on Zoom in your office. But he talked about posting more personal stuff in your feed. So sometimes, like, I've definitely been guilty of just posting business stuff in the feed and my personal stuff in the stories, and like maybe randomly peppering in personal stuff in the main post feed, but just that it's really important. Like, this is how our clients are getting to know us and like us or not. And if they don't, then whatever. We don't want to work with them anyway, right? So anyway, it's just part of like creating that friendship. Like, we can use our social media to create friendships. So um, talked about showing the work with the good stuff. So I thought this was really key for real estate agents. Like, a lot of times, you're posting a picture of like pending, like, here's my listing, or then here's my pending, and then here's my sold. But it's like, what's the story between that? Where's the journey along the way? So I thought that was just something to think about. Um, what happened along the way, and what's the lesson? All of us have these, especially when you're in real estate, but also, I mean, whatever business you're doing, I assume that you feel inspired by it, especially if you're an entrepreneur in it, and maybe your product is not super exciting. Like, okay, there's not many more things more boring than loans? Maybe oh, my StreamYard just popped off. Let's see if okay, there we go. Maybe like insurance, right? So our product is kind of boring, but the stories around how we help people, that's very exciting, right? Real estate agents, you get the pretty houses, hopefully. I mean, some of them, they're not all pretty, I guess, but anyway. Um, just like what happens in between all of the things. Let's see. We want to make our social media relatable and not have so much focus on remarkable. So some things are remarkable, right? Like the highlight reels of like all your vacations and you're just sold and clear to close and all of those things. Like, those, some of those things are remarkable, but like there are stories, our stories to get to the remarkable part. Like, that's what we need to be sharing more, is those fun stories. Um, Okay, the Cody Inman. Okay, Cody, you got to join the mastermind again. It was really fantastic. You're missing out. Um, let's see. Okay, sorry. I'm also rereading my notes for the first time for the most part. So some of it is going to be me just like getting through some things. So anyway, an exercise that Neil did have us do is we wrote down some of our stories. Like, what is something that's happened to you recently that you could share and share as a story that would then connect with somebody. So I'll share my story that kind of popped in my head is I go to these real estate meetings every Thursday, and I've been really consistently doing that every Thursday for like 3 years. And it's the Central Valley Association of Realtors. Okay, and there's different cities have different councils. So I go to the Tracy one because I live in Tracy, and it's close and it's easy. But there was one week where I knew on Thursday I was going to be gone. And so I decided to go to the one in Modesto. Well, Modesto is like, it's 45 minutes away to get there. So it's going to be an hour and a half of my day, which I am going to be out of town. It's going to be busy. And I do like to chat. I'm social, but also like sometimes we have to make ourselves do stuff. Okay. Right. We have to do things we don't want to do. And so this would be an example of that. So I decide I'm gonna go. I don't really want to. It's a lot of time, and I'm gonna be going out of town, and it's just I have stuff to do beforehand. But I made myself go, and I made a connection there that I think is going to be really helpful for my business. And I think that, like, I didn't know she was who she was, but when I was talking to her I figured it out. I was like, if I would not have come to this meeting, I would not have met that person. And so it was like a good lesson, a reminder to me that like you have to do things you don't want to do. Like, and you don't need to want to do everything that you have to do, but you sometimes need to just do it. And so it was a good reminder for that. But my point is in telling that story is that's the kind of thing that Neil was talking about in sharing your stories. Like share your stories throughout your day, not just your highlights, but what's your story. So I encourage you guys to all think about um, to all just think about what your stories are and how you can share the story of your clients. You know, what is their journey? Are they first time home buyers? And what's their journey to get to where they're at? Have you been working with them for a long time? You know, like share the in between. So, okay. Let's see, where are we at on time? Okay, cool. All right, Lemonade Life Coach. Okay, bedtime. Glad you hopped on. Also, Cody Inman, you had FOMO. I know. Sorry, bud. Next time. Next time, sign up. I hope you're making some money so you can sign up. Okay, there was a man there. His name's Kyle Scott, and he is the. Um, I guess I missed what his exact role is, but he works with Ryan Serhant's team. Oh, Emily, how's it going? Okay, Emily, I'm on StreamYard. It's delayed, and it's streaming everywhere, but I can only kind of see Instagram. So that's a summary of what's going on. Okay, Kyle Scott. He works for the Steerhant team. He is a master storyteller. So he was talking about how to share these stories and how we share them in a way like maybe sometimes we overcomplicate it, but as children, like we know how stories are told. Like um, once upon a time, one day, and that so you right, and because of that, until finally. So it's really just he outlined a story format that would be like I think what I want to create personally with it is um, like some kind of a script that I could follow where I really am just filling in the blanks. So like all of us with our clients have these stories, right? And for whatever reason, I feel like my reverse mortgage clients have these like stories, like they have these big stories, and it is like almost almost a hero story. Like sometimes I will listen to these sweet seniors, and they talk about what's going on in their struggles and how they're just like making themselves sick, and they're just like they don't know what to do, and they're just like in a like just in a panic, and I'm like, I can fix this. I know how to fix this. I have something. I can fix this for you. And so I just feel like there's a lot of that in the reverse mortgage story, but I know all stories have that journey. So um, Kyle Kyle talked about how stories help people remember, right? You remember when we think of stories, we think of nursery rhymes or Disney movies or something like they all have stories, right? So it helps us remember, um, and it helps us connect, right? It helps us relate personally. So like maybe in my reverse mortgage space world, there's not like I'm not at the age of a reverse mortgage, right? But, and probably a lot of my audience isn't in the reverse mortgage space, but like my mom's in that reverse mortgage age, or my aunties and my uncles, like I have loved ones in that space, in that age. And so, could me sharing my story, it's not going to help you, but it might help somebody that you love, right? So, um, sometimes the storytelling can help people make decisions. We should, I can't remember if this was his advice or Neil's, but we should tell our stories quarterly. So you should put that on your calendar to share your story somehow quarterly. Does it have to be totally a different story every time? I don't know. Probably not. Not everybody's going to hear your story at the time that you share it. If you share it again and it's very similar, like okay, who cares? What difference does that make? um, okay, let's see. Okay, I'll talk next about Pace Morby. If you don't know who that guy is, which I kind of knew who he was because my husband's like was when he saw that he was going to be one of the speakers, he was like, "Oh my gosh, you have to talk to Pace Morby." And I know he does like creative financing. I have heard him speak before, actually. I should say that he does creative financing. The like subject to stuff, like he takes over maybe people's. I'm like way not selling his stuff very good, but takes over like people's like maybe you have a mortgage and you're struggling making it, like he'll take over. I don't know. He has a whole course around creative financing. So anyway, my husband was super excited. Also, he went to Utah State, so that also was very exciting because we are Aggies and he's from Utah. So it just was like that connection. Um, but he talked about branding, talked about how like your vibe attracts your tribe. That's not like the first time I've ever heard that, but I loved, like he said, you're trying to catch a specific type of fish. Like we're not, you cast your net really wide and you catch a lot of things, but a lot of things escape. But you've got to like catch a specific fish, figure out what your niche is, I guess. Um, he did talk about podcasts. He's, like I said before, he did say I should start a podcast, and he was like, Liz forever, forever Liz. I can't remember which way he said it, but he said that 90% of, like he said, if you want to get in the top 1% of podcasts, 90% do not even post 3 episodes. So 90% of podcasts don't even do 3 episodes. If you want to get into the top 1%, all you have to do is post 21 episodes of a podcast, and you will be in the top 1% of podcasts. And I feel like as real estate agents, they're making claims a lot that they're in the top 1% of something. So if you want to be on the top 1% of podcasters, you could just post 21, and then there you go. You can make that claim. I love that he said you don't have to be massive to be successful. Your brand is what people say about you behind your back. I love that. You need to decide, what do you want from social media? Is it just meant to be social and having a good time and whatever, or is it for business? What do you want? Do you want to attract talent? Do you want to attract people who can do business with you? Do you want to attract affiliates to work with you? It's important, if you are an entrepreneur, to have something that people can look up. He was so nice, and message me if you want it. He shared with us his podcast director's personal cell phone number, which I did text, and that guy did text me back. So we're kind of working on that. And then he has like an affiliate person as well. So like basically he talked about kind of different arms of his business, and one of them is affiliate marketing, and he makes a crap ton of money basically referring other people and making a referral fee on those referrals. So anyway, so I thought it was just interesting. It's like, it's important to not, what I kind of got from like basically everybody that spoke was that there's not just one way to make money in business. And these people, these big influencers, these big influential people, they have their thing, and then they, like the affiliate marketing, a couple of them that spoke also do the affiliate marketing. So I just thought that was awesome. Pace gave us his personal cell phone, which I did hear back from him today. I don't know. Hey, Shep, how's it going? I don't 100% know if it was him or his assistant, but I'm just going to say that it was him. Pace Morby, he texted me back. And I had asked him a question about the podcast. Actually, here was his answer. So I asked him about, I've done all of these Instagram lives with all of these awesome people, and I'm like, I've saved those videos. Can I just like download the audio and then like apply that to my like start that as a podcast? And he said, absolutely. So I thought, okay, well, that's a great way to start. I can start my podcast with 20 episodes or however many people I've talked to. So I thought that was awesome. Shep Woolsey, if you're ever willing to be on an Instagram live with me, I would love to have you. I know usually you work during this time probably. So but he just to anybody like the 4 people watching this. But lots of people later, right? He is an amazing entrepreneur in Provo, Utah. He has his own salon and he is an educator on hair and he's just awesome. So anyway, and if you need a haircut, Provo, Utah, anywhere. Okay, awesome. That sounds great. He's going to do it. That's your commitment. Okay, something that I thought was really cool that Pace did and something that I I've just been like sitting on ruminating like how I could apply it. So he does these, he called them meetups. So he's in Scottsdale and I don't know if it's every Sunday or one Sunday a month, he would do a meetup and he was like, if you want to learn how I am building this building or running this business or like working on these real estate deals, I'm going to meet me at the Mavericks gas station. He'd give the address. And he said the first time he did it, like nobody showed up, but he still did the exercise of like going and seeing the properties, making videos. So like everybody here is like getting great value out of this, like pumping it up. And so then the next week, 3 people showed up. So then he just showed like, this is what we're doing. These are the people. He posted on Instagram. So then the next time he did it, like 60 people showed up. So like now he has a bus and he takes people around to his projects and he shows them how he's doing things. And I will say, like, I've been in these spaces with these really successful entrepreneurs, and the successful ones are so willing to share with you what it is that they're doing to be successful. And that I think is part of what is making them really well rounded in their experience is that they're willing to share. And sometimes we run into, especially in my space with like lending and real estate agents, is somebody's doing something really successfully. They don't want to let anybody know because they're afraid of the competition. But, these, I don't know, I thought that was really cool. So I was trying to think of like my own meetup, like how could I do a meetup? And so I'm kind of sitting in it, some ideas as far as like, if it's in person, some kind of, well, I guess it doesn't really have to be in person, but just some sort of space where I'm going to do something about reverse mortgage, for example, and I'm going to meet at the local library and I'm just going to like consistently do this thing. If you want to learn more, or you have family that wants to learn more, whatever, this is where I'm going to be this Saturday. Hey, Justin, thanks for joining. This Saturday, and I'm going to share about this, right? So I don't know. I'm just kind of sitting on that. It's an interesting thing when you're licensed across like an entire state. And also I'm licensed in Utah of like doing something personally like that where I really like, I don't need to drive around and show people things that I'm doing because I could just do that online. So I'm just kind of like, it's sitting on the back of my mind. And I just feel like when it is time, I will be inspired and I'm going to listen for it. So, he talked about surfing the wave of controversial things. How can you make money even if there's something controversial going on? I mean, he gave the example of how he helps do seller financing to illegal immigrants, which I'm sure everybody has their own opinions about. I don't know that I personally have a problem with that, except what I do have a problem with is, like, for example, I could not buy a house in Canada as a non-Canadian citizen, but someone from Canada could buy a house in the United States. So I know that China's doing that. there's like a place in, I'm going to say it wrong. I'm going to say it's South Dakota, where they're buying a lot of land, or they got stopped for it because it's close to a military base. So I just think that like foreign people should not be able to buy homes in the United States that don't like have citizenship, or even like I don't think that's right, because there's so many people here wanting to buy homes, and like its own citizens can't buy homes. Anyway, that is probably getting on a rant that I should just not be on. Um, really spoke a lot about speaking to your niche and how you will attract others to you, not just your niche. So not being worried about really just honing in on one thing that really you will attract more by just showing how much you know about the one thing. I thought that was good. Um, don't quit even when no one else shows up. I've definitely taught classes where like it's two of us and we're going to teach this class. Um, he said one day you'll be compensated for what you do for free. Um, and he did talk about, I thought this was a really interesting statistic. So we are best able to help people go through things that we have gone through, right? And so he was saying that so he was talking about real estate agents, and he did start his whole talk by like, he does creative financing. He doesn't need real estate agents or lenders. And here he is talking to a room full of real estate agents and lenders, so he's like, you guys all hate me, but he said 67% of real estate agents don't own their own primary residence. Okay. So you're trying to buy your primary residence and go through this process with somebody who doesn't own their own primary residence. Um, and then 85% don't own an investment property. So just something to think about. I don't think it totally disqualifies you if you are trying to sell something you don't own yet, because you get a lot of experience in the process and you learn as you go and things. But how much better can you help somebody who is experiencing the same thing that you, or wants to learn more about something that you're just maybe a few steps ahead of? So like, I'll give you an example. One of our loan officers, she doesn't own a house. She is renting a place in the city that she lives in. But what, like, she is in the middle, she is in the thick of this. Like, she has first time home buyers who are her age also struggling to find a place that they can afford. Like, she can connect to them in a way that frankly I can't connect to, or I remember what it was like being that age, but I don't necessarily have that exact same experience that person's having. So it's really aligning yourself with somebody who is enough steps ahead of you that they can really help you. um, he said whenever somebody says we can't do this, you need to flip the question and say, how can we? Like if you're running into a wall and it's like it can't be done, how can we figure this out? Is there a way to get creative? So um, when you do social media, every camera creates a clone of you. Like social media is the best way to create a copy of yourself that is out there and helping get people to know you. um, I think that's kind of it for Pace, actually. And I have been talking for 34 minutes. So I'm going to end there. I'll do another one of these in the future. I'm going to figure out StreamYard a little bit. I don't know, if I'm being honest, that this was like the most efficient tool. There's got to be something that I'm not doing right to do this. So, oh, Katie, thank you for being my one other viewer the whole time, Katie. I appreciate it. There's got to be a way to do this where more comments show up or something. So live viewer comments show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Okay, so you're all just, I mean, I'm not going to talk anymore really, except to myself as I try to figure out StreamYard. So hashtag Pace Morby. Why don't you just hop on one of these StreamYard calls with me? How about that? That'd be awesome. You can show me how to do it. My Lady Coslow. Is that Jeanette Kozlowski? Do you have another account? My Lady Coslow? Because it's funny, like the StreamYard does not show me anything. Live viewer comments show up on StreamYard, but maybe just nobody's commenting, except people have commented on the Instagram post that I see here, but it's not showing up in my StreamYard. So, interesting. I don't know. Maybe I should look on YouTube how to do this. I just want it to be easy. Does anybody else just want their tech to just be easy and just work? And I guess so. So, okay. Anyway, all right. I'm going to end this somehow. And I hope you guys have a great night.